Yes.
Okay. Now, how I get that down and email it to you afterwards, I have no clue, but we'll figure
They
it out.
said, so I watched a YouTube tutorial on it last night, and apparently it says if you save it, if it goes to the cloud or to the device, I believe, or to your computer, I think there is a folder that just automatically gets made called Zoom, and I think it's in
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ever since this like 6 weeks ago, the lockdown, I mean, this is like me being dropped in Japan and learning how to speak the language and trying to get, I mean, it's crazy.
But
I know.
that's everyone though. Like I never even used Zoom until now.
Oh
Really,
God, no,
Chrissy?
me neither.
Oh,
I've never used this, but what's funny is I haven't communicated with my family or my friends of college, you know, rarely or sometimes throughout the years, but now for some reason everybody wants to do this Zoom thing, so we're having reunions and everything.
Yeah, it's cute. It's like, it's sweet. It's just interesting because people are calling people that they haven't spoken to in, 10, 15 years. And you're like, oh, they're lonely. Like they want human connectivity.
I know. They just want some form of connection.
Yeah.
All right. So I have written up a whole bunch of things here because as Mike might have told you yet, I'm a big fan.
Well, thanks. Thank
yes.
you.
So I was at the awards show when you sang with all the girls, and that was wonderful.
You were?
I was.
That was an incredible night. That it was a blur, but it was amazing. It was really cool.
Were you nervous?
I wasn't nervous because it's live television.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's like country royalty in front of you. You're like, okay. I think I was more nervous there than the Oscars because, most actors aren't necessarily singers, but when you're like sitting in front of all these people you've either revered forever or love dearly, you're like, okay, this is a little more pressure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So did you go to college for acting or vocal?
No, I went to the School of Hard Knocks in Los Angeles.
Yes.
I found my manager at an open call at a Holiday Inn. My sister took me. Well, I took her because I was babysitting her and she wanted to be a model. And
this sounds like the Kirk Cameron, Candace Cameron story.
Oh gosh, is that what happened?
Well, I believe so. I believe that Kirk Cameron was being interviewed or went to audition for something and Candace was there and they were like, we like her.
Oh, I had no idea.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. I mean, it happens often, right? It's the people that are like, but I still think that somewhere, right, in your heart, because for me, I was like, I love this little town, but like, help me get out of it because I'm going to be stifled for the rest of my life. And so I think that was the energy I was giving off. Anyway, the manager decided to sign me. I moved out to LA and became my agent's assistant and became an agent for 9 years. So
wow.
I had a bit of a different education, different training. But music was always my first love. And it's obviously what I was, middle school, high school, I was in chamber choir and all that jazz, but it got pushed to the wayside and acting sort of took the forefront.
Nice. Yeah. Cause I went to college. I went to Baltimore School for the Arts for high school. And I went to University of the Arts for musical theater for college.
Oh, you're fancy. Wow. So do you have a favorite musical?
I have numerous favorite musicals, but I normally, it's just easier for me to say what my first one was.
Okay.
The first one I saw on Broadway was Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, wow.
Which was wonderful.
Yeah.
I like Carousel a lot. But
see Carousel.
Yeah, well, it was just revived on Broadway, but it went away. Or I don't know if it went. Is it still on? No, it closed. But it's tough to get anyone to mount it again because it's essentially the story of a guy who beats his wife and is essentially the hero,
right. Not going to happen. Not in this day and time.
Not in 2020.
No. Have you ever seen the Drowsy Chaperone?
Yeah.
Isn't that a lovely show?
Yes, with wonderful music.
Yeah. The music is it's so great, and I'm such a demanding role. My gosh, I can't even imagine. But have you seen Dear Evan Hansen?
I haven't seen it, but Pasek and Paul, can write music like nobody's business.
Those boys are so great. I know. I love them.
Mike, have you seen Dear Evan Hansen? Oh, he's on.
Oh,
You're on mute. You're on mute. Mike, you're on mute. He's talking a whole lot, and he's on mute.
Dude, wait. You're on mute.
What did you say? You're on mute.
Am I on mute now?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
on
we
mute.
didn't hear any of your story.
What did you say?
No, you're now on mute again. You're on mute again.
All right.
Now?
Yes, you're good now.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. God, I can't figure this out. I'm sorry. What was the question, Tyler? I apologize.
That's all right. Have you seen Dear Evan Hansen the musical?
No.
Damn. Have you seen The Greatest Showman, the movie?
It's in my queue, but I have like 1,000 in my queue.
Oh, the music for that is so great.
Is it?
Oh, and Ben Platt. Do you know Ben Platt?
I
don't.
do. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Is he
You know him,
as
Chrissy, or
wonderful?
have you worked with him?
I've not worked with him, but I've just, befriended him. Like I went backstage after the show and was a mess. Like I cried from the beginning to the end of that show.
Yeah.
And we're repped by the same company. So we happen to, run into each other, but he's exceptional and so sweet. And like, I've honestly never seen a performance like that in my whole life.
Yeah, well, and he didn't, when he was the lead, when he was Evan Hansen, he did not stage door for that because it took so much out of him every
How
night.
can you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how he got through that show. I don't even know.
8 shows a week.
I honestly, I know that he had like a massage therapist and he had like a therapist and he had like all these, because physically, mentally, emotionally, I don't even, it probably one of the most taxing shows ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the music. Oh God, the music.
I know.
We'll have to chat again and talk more music.
Yes,
because
talk musical theater, yes.
yeah, yes. All right, so my wife and I watch This Is Us, and we've watched it since the beginning.
Yay.
Yes, and we are major fans of you and your story, and we wanted to smack Toby a little bit at a certain point.
I know, everybody did. Like, Kate's not perfect though, so.
Right, fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, because there was when you guys left the hospital, when he said, "Let's just get out of the parking lot and see if we still feel the same way."
I know.
That was such a real moment.
I know. The writers are so exceptional in the way that they convey, these really real storylines. And, everyone's like, I can't believe they're going to adopt. How they need it. And I'm like, look, nobody does anything, and especially life, perfectly. So yeah, but it's sweet and it is real life. Like,
yes.
It really is. Yeah.
It's a perfectly painted picture, I believe. Everybody has different levels of life, and so one of the funny questions that I thought about after the first season was, do any of you use a crock pot now?
I have an Instapot, but I just have to say, because they're, poor Crockpot, their like numbers went down significantly after that episode, and I was like, oh my gosh, how do we make it? Like, we were all like, how do we make this right? And the thing is, it wasn't the Crockpot, right? Like, he left it plugged in, and it was already faulty before it was given to him by the neighbor. Right. So anyway, I don't think any of us have a Crockpot. Not intentionally, but. Yeah.
I feel like your cast party or your season 1 wrap should have been nothing but potlucks in crock pots.
Well, interestingly enough, we always do like a B-roll at the wrap party. And when they finally showed the episode where the house burned down, like the beginning montage was burning down the house. And I was like, this is too soon. It's too soon, everybody. Too soon.
Right. Milo's like, hello?
Yeah. Right.
Like, I didn't know this was a celebration.
Right. Exactly. Celebration of life. Like, what is this?
Right. What are we doing here? How often do you get to see your young selves on set, or do you?
Very rarely. I mean, there was one episode where Kate was in under anesthesia when she was having the baby.
Right.
And that she did, there was like that sort of that dream sequence where she saw herself younger, teenage, and then they had that moment at the ice cream shop with Jack. But never, unless there's some sort of dream sequence or something, do we ever get to hang out with our younger selves. So
Yeah. So your son Jack on the show.
Mhm.
This might be like a what do you think question, but is he blind in real life?
No, he's not.
No.
They do some work in post to make his eyes a little different, but interestingly enough, he always looks up at the boom mic, which is like
Perfect.
that's why people think they're like, oh, maybe he's a blind baby. But the other younger kids that we've used have been blind, but because he was so tiny, and there's so many rules and regulations, like they can only work 20 minutes for 4 hours a day, and it's very intricate process. So
You-
no, they just happen to work it out in post-production.
Union rules.
Yeah, rules is rules.
Rules is rules.
Yeah.
So also, as we ended the latest season, are you? So this isn't true, and this I'm sure of it, but I feel like you guys are all sitting off camera watching every scene as it happens. Is that?
I mean, if we can afford to do that, like with our time, we definitely do. The finale episode where Randall and Kevin were like battling in the yard.
I'm about to bring up.
I know, so good. I stayed to watch that scene because I knew it was going to be cool because they were going to shoot it in a oneer. But I also knew that because of what Kevin was contending with about just finding out, of course, that he's going to be a father, and what does that mean, and all of these other things. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be so good. And I was so glad I stayed. But so if we can, we typically do like sit around and watch each other, but time doesn't always afford that because we on to like the next scene. Sometimes we shoot double units.
Oh.
So two productions in one.
Yeah, because my anxiety now, I don't have a biological brother or an adopted brother or anything like that, but I needed Kevin to knock Randall right on his ass because that's what needed to happen. Here's
the thing, right? Because I always say like neither are right or wrong, but like we see why Randall is so adamant about Rebecca doing this trial, but like, come on, like don't persuade her to the point where like, is it really her decision or not? So I can see both sides of their arguments.
Oh, I totally can. Yes, because there's a piece of you wanting the best interest for your mother, and then it's like, do you just want her to live where what she knows, or do you want her final days to be in St. Louis?
Right.
Yeah. Like that. But then when they start calling each other out and saying all these hurtful things,
I know.
And I don't even think, and that's what I think is great about the writers of the show, because they allow you to decide whether they mean it or not.
Sure. It's a really cool, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because when he says, that my biggest regret was mom and dad bringing you home. Because at that very moment, you know exactly how Kevin feels, and you know exactly how you would feel if you were Randall.
Right.
And the fact that Randall doesn't react the way I wanted him to react just had me in all sorts of,
I know.
If you're laying in bed watching This Is Us on a Tuesday night, I'm sitting up now. I'm sitting up now.
I'm sitting up now.
I am. It's the truth. It is the truth. All right. So before I move on to music, how you're not going to tell me, but I am going to ask. Does Rebecca die?
Listen, nobody lives forever.
Stop it. To me.
Right. And here's also the thing, if I could just comfort you, in that Jack is not living, but he's still there. So there is that, like, nobody ever really goes away.
Yes. And the relationship that I didn't even think about this one until now, but the relationship that you have with Rebecca is very much many mothers and daughters
Oh yeah.
around the world.
Oh,
this
yeah.
this Rebecca wanting the best for you, but there is a very big piece of her that doesn't think that you're good enough, or
Sure.
as good as her, or she doesn't want you to live your dream because it's close to her dream and she didn't get to live it.
Or that, you know, her mom, as we've seen like in backstories, that her mom was really hard on her. And so like we typically teach what we know. And I think she's trying to sort of counteract what her mother did to her. But it's hard, right? Because you want the best for your child, but you also have to like let them do what they want to do. I can't imagine being a parent. I can't even keep a succulent alive, and it's a joke, but it's real. So anyway, yeah, it's a complicated relationship.
Do you have a brown thumb?
You know, it's definitely not green. It's we're trying. It's tricky. It takes a lot of, you know, time and effort, and perhaps I'm not educated on the matter. It's entirely possible, but we're trying.
Well, you let the people know at NBC and your cast that I am willing to be a day player. I was teenager number 1 in Blair Witch 2.
Okay.
I just got a $14 residual check on Monday.
Oh, let me tell you something. That's a couple tanks of gas, buddy.
That's mailbox money.
Yeah, that's found money. That's money you didn't have before.
I didn't know it was coming.
I know, it's exciting. Although my residual checks are like 25 cents, 14 cents. And when I was broke, I would like run to the mailbox after work every day. I'm like, please, please, please. And I'm like, but sometimes I get some good ones, but they're fun to get.
Oh, I know. I had just quit my job as a forklift operator in like 2006 or whatever. And I was like, I'm just going to sing and be a mobile DJ and make some money doing that. And the day I quit, there was an $1,000 check from SAG-AFTRA in the mail to my little 22-year-old self.
Oh, you were rich. You were rich.
We were out tonight.
Yeah, you're Scrooge McDuck just like swimming in the money.
It's so true.
I know. Believe you me, I know.
Yeah, so you let them know if they need like a cashier at like an ice cream parlor, and I could say
you got it. You know, like he's already SAG, so.
I mean, I'm a must join at this point.
Oh, you are? Okay, well.
That's all right. I'll pay it.
Okay.
I'll pay it. I got that stimulus check.
Okay. It won't even cover SAG dues. SAG dues are like almost $4,000 now.
Really? When I was a must join, I think it was like $2,500 or something like that.
Yeah, I think when I joined it was $1,600, which felt like it's not going to happen. Like I'm never going to be in the union because who can afford this?
I know. What was the silliest audition you've ever had?
Oh gosh, I think it was for a feature, and everyone's like, George Clooney's leading, and I'm like, oh great, cool, this is exciting. And then I get the script, and it's like this German woman like straddling George Clooney, asking for another hot dog, and I was like, I think I'm good on that. I don't need to audition for that. Right.
I don't want that on my IMDb credits.
And not with a terrible German accent either. There's a hot dog. Like what? I'm sorry, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's Austrian. Like I'm not doing this. It was too much.
I had to do one where I was. Well, there was a couple, but one of them was for like Robitussin or something like that, and we literally had to go in and go.
Right.
That was the audition. Like they wanted to hear your cough.
Right.
And if
right. Is it believable? Cough, can we sell the product?
Right. What is your character's coughing journey?
Right.
Like where
is your subtext? Did you not get enough sleep? Do you need more sleep? What is you've got to have it all.
What is the obstacle?
Right. Honestly, commercial auditions are the most awkward things of life.
I know it. We had to, I did one for Tiger Electronics, those little handheld games.
Oh, yeah.
When I was younger, I had to do one, and I was cast for it where I had to literally stare at the casting directors and act like I was like encouraging my friend to like win a video game. So I had to be like, come on, to the left, no, to the right. But like there wasn't anything to watch.
Right.
So I was literally sort of improving.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what people like. There's so much magic that goes on sets. Like, when we're supposed to be watching TV or a football game or something, there's nothing on the TV. There's nothing. Like you are completely making it up, and I'm like, Chris, we watching the same game? Because are you? I don't, like you. It's very weird.
Right, because you either all have to agree that it was a bad play or that it was a good play.
Right. Like, are you rooting? Thank goodness he didn't like football and Kate does, so it was a little easier. But like, it's weird. It's a weird. I mean, we really are pretending.
Which is why they ran the Super Bowl on the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a whole thing because obviously
Right.
Kate and the Steelers and all that. It was,
Right, and they had it like on television or something like that. That was really cool.
Yeah. Well, and we got to go to the Super Bowl when the Eagles played the Patriots, and then we were on Fallon afterward because that was the big episode of the house fire and all that.
Right. So, well, I could talk theater and I could talk This Is Us with you all evening, or all afternoon, and I will at some point.
Right.
But I know that your new single that we got a chance to listen to, Talking to God, is your introduction to country radio. A great song, because
Nice.
just like This Is Us, you don't exactly know where the song is going if you're hearing it for the first time until you get to the chorus.
Yeah.
Is this a song that was given to you and you picked through it, picked through a whole bunch of singles and you're like, no, but then it was this one? Or
No, so I'd been coming back and forth to Nashville for almost 2 years, songwriting, because I wanted to be on the journey, and really, since music was something I always wanted to do, I wanted to do it wholeheartedly. And so when we'd have time off of the show, I would come on like a long weekend or whatever. And I, by the by, found my manager at Red Door. I don't know if you're familiar with that bar here in Nashville.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Lauren Elena apparently like sets up shop there often.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not much of a drinker and I don't really go out. I feel like an old lady, but I was here for the CMT Awards one year. I was presenting with Rascal Flatts, and anyway, I happened to meet Zeb, who works with Lynn, who was, Lynn manages Luke Combs. I saw your black behind you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, and so he would just send me songs because I just love to listen to new music or whatnot. And he sent it to me just like, he's like, oh, I think this song is amazing. Nicolette wrote it on an Ashley McBride writer's retreat with Connie and Aaron. And I was like, oh, who's cutting it though? And he's like, I don't know if it's going to make Ashley's album. And I'm like, I want it. Like, I please. And he was like, you're never this adamant about a song. Like, I send you multiple songs and you've never, and I was like, please just, so that's sort of how it came about. And I just felt like it was something I wanted that story to tell. And I've lived that story and I think we all do. So yeah, just the universe was like, oh.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens. And I'm always fascinated by writers' retreats. And I'm only using air quotes because I've never been to one. But it's like scientists in a lab, sort of.
That's exactly what it is. I think I always say this, but songwriting process is like the most magical thing. Any like writer's room or any creative lab, where you just spend time sort of just kicking up ideas and then one sticks. And then there's a song in 4 hours that could literally change people's lives. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's a very magical experience for me, for sure.
Who did you grow up singing along to? Not enjoying, but singing along to.
Well, not enjoying. Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, I love Elvis Presley, but I didn't like sing. Like, who did you sing along to a lot?
Oh, I grew up with Motown, and like a lot of 60s music and Beach Boys, the Doobie Brothers, the Righteous Brothers, like all those groups, which I love, the Supremes, but music was super prevalent in my household. Like my parents were always entertaining when we lived in Japan. My dad was in the Navy, and so we'd always have like parties, and music was just always around. I mean, but from every genre. And so, I just remember singing like at the top of my lungs, like Kenny Rogers, and when we'd go camping and stuff. So I don't know. I pretty much like to sing to everything.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh God, so and so's on. I'm like, I can find something about a song that I love. But country music was always sort of in our lives, and I love the values of country music and the storytelling about it.
Hmm.
That it just was like a natural thing for me to head that direction. So
Yeah. Who are you digging on right now musically?
yeah, Kaylee Hammock,
Oh
Lainey
yeah.
Wilson. Do you know Lainey Wilson? Have you talked to her?
Yeah, they both have come to our station. Yeah. Lainey and
Oh,
I are friends on Instagram.
oh well then, okay, then it's official. Okay, but she literally is one of the funniest people. I'm like obsessed with her. We've actually co-wrote a song that's going to be on my EP release because I don't think we're going to get to the album completely because I
Mhm.
haven't gotten back into the studio. And so anyway, Lainey's just so wonderful, and I love Kaylee. I love Cree. Do you know Cree Harrison? She was on
Oh,
American Idol, and
no,
she's
I don't.
an amazing songwriter and incredible voice. I love the Brothers Osborne, like obsessed with those guys. Obviously Luke, you know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Brothers Osborne are from Maryland.
Oh, I didn't know they were from Maryland.
Yep, they're from Deal, Maryland. That's where well, I'm not in Deal, but yes, I'm
Yeah.
in Maryland right now.
Oh,
Yep. They're
so
good.
I have a question. Did you ever watch any of the American Horror Story series?
Oh, no, but I know what you're gonna ask about Kathy Bates,
Yeah,
about her accent.
yeah.
Yes,
Accurate, good.
yes,
Oh, good. So
yes.
do you say Warsh?
No, but if you live in like Baltimore City
Mm-hmm.
on a certain part, or there's an area called Dundalk or Essex or Middle River, if you were raised in a certain time or around those certain people, you definitely say "Warsh ambulance," like an ambulance is
Yeah,
coming to
yeah.
take you to the hospital.
A hospital, right, right, right.
Yeah.
Ambulance, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You wash your hands in a zinc.
And a zinc, right?
Yeah, there's a whole like an alphabet book for Baltimoreans.
I love accents and dialects. I find them to be so fascinating. So, especially since you're, around those parts, from those parts, I'm always so curious because I thought it was fantastic, but you never know.
Yeah, because even if you didn't watch American Horror Story, at least on your social media feed, like people were like, if you don't watch it, Kathy Bates just knocked it out of the park with the
Um,
Baltimore accent
Good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. As if we'd expect anything less.
from
However,
Mrs. Bates.
yes, from Mrs. Bates. Oh, I just love that woman. But yeah, I just was curious. Anyhow,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, I love those Brothers Osborne. I love those guys. Chris Stapleton, love him.
Did you get a chance to see that Chris Stapleton with Justin Timberlake performance on the CMAs?
Wait,
It was a couple years ago.
the Tennessee whiskey, right?
Tennessee Whiskey and
Yeah.
Drink You Away.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was great.
it was a church service. It
Yeah,
was
it was really great.
amazing.
I mean, I feel like Chris Stapleton could sing the phone book.
Again,
He can, and he can.
and he
He
can.
and Morgan. I don't know if you know his wife, but she's
Oh
an
yeah.
incredible singer. I
Yep.
think she had a record deal at one point. She's amazing. I just love them. Anyway.
Well, Chrissy, I know that our time is almost up, and I'm sure somebody else would love to chat with you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for a half an hour so we can talk musical theater. This is us.
Residual checks, musical theater. This is us.
Mailbox money.
Single. Yes.
Found money.
That's right.
I love
That's
it.
right.
And I
It's lovely to
cannot
meet
wait.
you.
It's so nice to meet you too, and I can't wait to meet you in person. And I can't wait to be like Kevin's best friend, like business partner or something for like a day.
Okay, I'm gonna pitch the idea. I'm like, yo, there's this guy.
Yep.
He's a must join.
Teenager number 1 in Blair Witch 2.
Right.
The
Strong
mailbox
credit.
money.
That's a
Not
strong
playing.
credit.
Find me on IMDb. Photo not available because you have to pay for it, and that's bullshit.
Yes, you do.
Let's
Oh
see.
my gosh. Well,
All
it's
right.
great to meet you, and I hope that you guys stay well and to actually meet you in person soon.
I hope so too, and we'll be watching you on TV very soon. Give my love to the entire cast.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, send me this video.
I will.
All right, we'll see you.